Hello YouTube, it's Chosen the Story, and we are going to watch a Fat Files with Jake the Lawyer about Subway. So grab your snackies, grab your bevies, let me know what you eat and drink down below. Let's get to watching.
You know it's gonna be good when I have to call my lawyer before I post the video.
Quack.
Today we're talking about Subway. Why? Because I went there for like the first time in 10 years the other day and they asked me for a tip at checkout, which annoyed me. So then I looked into it and then I found out that you can get hepatitis from a sandwich. I'm not exaggerating.
What? What? I'm gonna throw up. Like, I'm gonna be sick. All right.
That actually happened, and it's like the tip of the iceberg. And to be honest with you, this is also the part where my lawyer explicitly told me to insert a disclaimer in this video. So here's Jake the Lawyer, aka the Internet Esquire.
Okay, here's the deal, Subway Group, now wholly owned by affiliates of Rourke Capital and formerly known as Pizza Super Submarine Sandwiches. My client, the Mr. Fat Electrician, is providing in this video true or substantially true information derived from reasonably reliable and publicly available material. There are no known falsehoods made, and any analysis of the material presented is made solely for the purposes of news reporting, protected commentary, or new understandings. In
So get fucked.
no way is this video or the things said by my client in this video in any medium now known or hereafter devised throughout the universe and in perpetuity in any way a sponsorship or endorsement of Subway Group. And any so-called conclusions drawn by my client as a result of the material are that of opinion, satire, or are otherwise accurate depictions preserved in their full context when not otherwise artistically interpreted for the purposes of valuable public commentary. And notwithstanding the foregoing, we reserve all right, title, and interest in and to the presentation of the materials presented in this audiovisual format, and with God as our witness, pray that no binders be bound against you as a result of this video. I'm Jake the Lawyer, signing off.
All right, in case
Do not sue us.
you can't tell, this video is going to be unhinged, so let's just get the ad out of the way now, and then we can watch my blood pressure rise for the next 15 minutes straight. This video is brought
Hell yeah, let's go.
to you by Supremacy World War III, a free-to-play online PvP strategy-based game available on mobile and desktop. It is based on a World War III type scenario, which definitely isn't becoming more and more realistic every single day. You can pick your country
Buddy.
and go off to war playing with up to 99 other people. Personally, I'm picking the United States because I enjoy winning. But hey, that's me. You can do whatever you want. You can go play as Iran. Maybe it's fun to lose your entire navy in like 45 minutes. Again. I mean, seriously, if I had a nickel for every single time that a Republican TV star became the president of
Orcas start wearing dead salmon hats. Making shit stumps the entire Iranian Navy in 8 hours after they fucked around in Operation Praying Mantis. America has TV star Republican for president. Orcas are back in their hats pending?
the United States, and then orcas randomly started wearing dead salmons on top of their heads, and then America destroyed Iran's entire navy in like a day, I'd have 2 nickels, which isn't a lot, but that's a really weird coincidence. Also, yes, I called that. They also just released, which isn't a lot, but that's a really weird coincidence. Also, yes.
1988, okay. That was him, cool.
Yes, I called that. They also just released their new officer update where you can unlock elite commanders that give your entire country unique abilities and powers and power-ups. And if you use my code down below, you're gonna immediately unlock a free railgun, giving you a huge advantage right out of the gate. So go check that out. Let's get back.
Do we still use railguns in the military?
Back to the video. All right, story time.
Like actual railguns. I'm just wondering.
I used to go to Subway every single day my junior, senior year of high school, and the entire
Yes, they're experimental. Okay.
time I was in college, I pretty much exclusively survived off of Subway and protein shakes. And this is back in the day when that Jared from Subway guy that lost a bunch of weight was
Because Subway used to be like affordable, and now it's very much not.
still in every other TV commercial and plastered all over billboards all over the country, and footlongs were $5. So when I went into Subway the other day for the first time in like 10 years, I was expecting the price, you know, probably went up a little bit. Inflation, everything going on, it's probably not $5 anymore. That's fine. I go in, I have my sandwich made, I get to checkout. My sandwich was like $19.
Yep.
They said market price.
So right out of the gate, there's some sticker shock, but immediately I'm looking for silver linings. I'm like, okay, Subway's probably one of these companies that has like a pretty high minimum wage for their workers, and that's what's gonna justify the price of the sandwich. It's actually going to the worker. That, you know what, that's fine. And then the cashier does the classic swivel the fucking tablet around, asking me how much money I wanna leave for a tip.
Oh, you motherfuckers.
Immediately, I cave to societal pressure because I don't want this young lady to think I'm an asshole, so I leave a tip, I grab my sandwich, I go eat my sandwich. While I'm eating the sandwich, I'm just stewing doing. Like, I don't think I should have to tip the people that work at Subway. Not because I don't think, you know, they provide a service, they did a good job, or, you know, they deserve to make more.
But it's one of those situations where they're paid to make sandwiches and all they did was what they're literally paid to do. I'm sorry. This is like an asshole thing because like it's the same with like you go to a concession stand or you go literally anywhere. You go to like a McAllister's, which is like a deli thing. And like, tipping culture has gotten ridiculous in the United States. Like 100%. Like, okay, service jobs, like waiters, waitresses, like if you're getting something detailed, like that kind of stuff, I'm like, okay, yeah, you can tip them. They have done a service for you. And I think you should tip them. But like, hey, you're getting paid to legitimately do a job and you're asking me to tip you to do the job. And you can make arguments about like, oh, well, waiters and waitresses should be actually paid. I was one. We can make that conversation all the time. Like, that's fine. But like, I don't know. It's just like, it's on everything. Yeah. Like delivery driver. Yeah. You're going to come deliver me food. I will give you a tip. I just feel like there's like some things where I'm like, why are we asking if I want to tip you? Like, especially when some things are like more self-serve, that drives me crazy. If it's a self-serve situation where I have to kind of serve myself, but when I go to pay, you're like the thing, and I know it's like built in automatically for a lot of things, or like it's corporate making you do this, and it's like, you're asking for a fucking tip when I had to serve myself this whole time? What do you mean? Why? It's so weird to me. I don't know.
Money they do, that's fine, but the company should be paying them more fucking money. I just paid 300% more money for my sandwich. Pay your employees more money. I understand Subway's a restaurant and like you tip people that work at restaurants, but it's not like I sat down, a waiter came out, took my drink order, took my food order, brought me my food. There was no service involved, okay? I stood there and told you how to make the fucking sandwich. I was the project manager on this sandwich, okay? As far as I'm concerned, I'm part of the team.
Part of the crew, part of the ship. Part of the crew, part of the ship.
At this point, I become convinced at some point in the past 10 years, all the big wigs at Subway got together in their headquarters in some secret underground layer underneath the volcano or wherever Subway's headquarters is, and they had a meeting, and in that meeting, they were like, okay, guys, we need to pay our employees more money. Option A, we can raise the price of the sandwich 300% and pay our employees more money. Option B, we can raise the price of the sandwich 300% and then we can add a tip screen. That way, when the employees are mad they're not making enough money, we shift the blame from us to the customers. Okay, I'm sorry, you don't.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of agree with that. It's so many things, too. Like, again, if there's like a level of you serving me in a way, I will give you a tip. And also, I often give tips anyway, especially if I'm at like a busy, overcrowded thing. Like, I'll leave a tip anyway, because like, y'all are probably going through it. But like, I definitely ask, like, do you get the entire tip if I give it to you? And sometimes they're like, no, like, no, we don't really get the tip. And then I'm like, oh, then I'm not tipping. Like, if you're not going to 100% get the amount that I'm giving you, then I'm not going to give it to you. Like, because you're not getting it anyway, you know? I'm not going to pay the company more money so they can give you $1 on this tip that I just gave you. Like, absolutely not. No. It bothers me. I'm sorry. Like, you guys could, I don't know. I think it's weird that everything now requires you to answer whether or not you want to give a tip. And like, I don't like it.
You get to charge me 4 times as much for a sandwich and then also try to paint me as an asshole to the high schooler behind the cash register. It's not going to happen. So now I got to know everything. I start digging into Subway.
What is? Grab a shovel.
So once upon a time in 1965, there's a 17-year-old kid named...
He's like, well, pettiness. It's pettiness time.
Grab a shovel.
So once upon a time, 1965, there's a 17-year-old kid named Fred DeLuca, and he wants to go off to medical school, but he doesn't have enough money to pay for it. So he's like, hey, my family has this rich friend. He's a nuclear physicist. He's got all kinds of money. I'm going to go to him and ask for his advice, probably secretly hoping that the guy's just going to offer to pay for my college. To his surprise, instead, nuclear physicist guy is like, I'm not going to pay for your college, but I will give you $1,000 to start a sandwich shop, and me and you can go into business business together, and then you can use the money from the sandwich shop to pay for medical school. And $1,000 in 1965 is like 20 grand today, so not an insignificant amount of money. So they open up Pete's Submarines, which is the original name for Subway, and for the first couple of years, they don't really make any money, and a humongous problem they have is people keep calling to order pizza. Because apparently Fred DeLuca in all the radio advertisements has a thick New York accent, so when he says Pete's Submarines, what people hear is Pizza Marines. So rather than learning how to say Pete's Submarines, he's like, fuck it, we're just gonna rename the restaurant Subway. From here, they start like breaking even, they're making a little bit of money, but like it's nothing to write home about. He's not gonna be able to go to medical school anytime soon, and he's like, okay, hear me out, I've got an idea. We're not really making any money with the submarine shop. What if we double down and open a second submarine shop?
Dream big.
You know, what if there's two of them? It's twice the possibilities, you know?
Right?
Basically, he uses reverse psychology into tricking people to come in to eat these sandwiches, because when he opens up a second location, people are like, oh my God, they're opening up second locations. They're expanding. They must be delicious. And he starts...
They must get such good business that they can afford a second location, and they need that second location because of how busy the first location is. Big brain tactics.
To getting more business. Some of the best advice I've ever heard in my entire life when I was in the military was fake it till you make it, and that's exactly what they're doing here, and it works. Now, ultimately, this is going to be their downfall, but at the time, it makes sense. Fred identifies, hey, rapid expansion is what's making money. We're going to keep rapidly expanding. More locations, more money, more market dominance. Makes sense. So they start opening up Subways everywhere, and then they start franchising, which is, you know, basically, hey, you can use my branding, you can use all my vendors, I'll show you how to do this job. You pay me a bunch of money to open up a Subway, and then you give me like a percentage of your cut, and then they just start opening up franchises all over the United States. And this is actually brilliant for Subway, because Subway has a ton of advantages when it comes to franchising. Because Subway, they're just making sandwiches. They don't need deep fryers. They don't need a big cooktop. They don't need all the stuff that other restaurants need. They don't need a ton of special equipment. There's not a bunch of special training. Everybody on the planet knows how to make a sandwich. So the overhead to open up a new...
I wonder what the first like sandwich shop, like sub sandwich shop was, you know? I wonder what the first one was.
Restaurant is extremely low. The amount of training you have to give employees is extremely low, and the amount of space that you actually need to have a functioning Subway is also extremely low, because again, they don't have ovens and deep fryers and all that other shit. Which also means that it's really cheap to start a Subway because there's not a lot of overhead, so you could open up a Subway for like $150,000 to $200,000, where competitors like McDonald's are like $2 million to open up a McDonald's.
Jesus.
And this is where Subway's fixation with hyper expansion starts to bite them in the ass, because again, that's all they care about, just more Subways. More Subways is the answer. More Subways equals more money. Typically with a franchise, the franchising company like Subway or McDonald's is committed to making sure that their franchisees, aka their restaurant locations and their owners, are successful. There's a lot of ways that they do this, and one of the big ones is...
Per Google, some reports suggest Giovanni Amato created the Italian sandwich in Portland, Maine around 1903, later opening a shop in the 1920s. Thank you, Kuma.
typically having territories. So like Chick-fil-A or McDonald's will look at a city and be like, okay, this city has one McDonald's, it's big enough for two McDonald's, but we're gonna stick it on the other end of town so both of these franchises can be successful. Subway, on the other hand, doesn't appear to give a shit, because remember, all they care about is having more Subways. More equals more.
I feel like Subways and Starbucks has that same fucking feeling. I feel like there's always a Starbucks near another damn Starbucks somehow, you know?
Hand doesn't appear to give a shit, because remember, all they care about is having more Subways. More equals more money, so they don't care how close they get put together, and there's Subways across the street from Subways all over America. I'm not exaggerating. In my small town in Iowa, there's 3 Subways, and 2 of them are in the same parking lot. One of them is in Walmart, and the other one is like 200 yards outside the front doors of Walmart as a standalone Subway. So obviously, they start cannibalizing each other's profits. They're literally competing with themselves. And that's not even the worst part. The overall franchise agreement, I've looked into a lot of restaurants to have franchising. This is the worst one by far. I would be shocked if it's not the worst one on the planet. Not only if you open up a Subway, will they let somebody else open up another Subway right across the street and cannibalize a lot of your profits, they also have like the highest franchise fee that I've ever come across at 12.5%. And a franchise fee is taken from gross revenue, not gross profit. Meaning, before you even take out all the costs of running this business, Subway's taking 12.5% right off the top. To put it into perspective, McDonald's franchise fee is...
And they don't even protect you. Like, they absolutely set you up so you can fail. That sucks. Bam.
is 8%. So Subway's is 50% higher for a much simpler business. And that's not even the worst part. In the Subway franchise agreement, well, in every franchise agreement, really, there's, you know, terms where you can revoke somebody's franchise. Basically, like if a McDonald's or a Chick-fil-A isn't living up to the McDonald's or Chick-fil-A name, they can take away the name so you're no longer a McDonald's or a Chick-fil-A, so you don't ruin their reputation across the entire country. And Subway has the same thing. That's fine, but theirs is intentionally broad, and they can basically take your location from you for a wide variety of reasons, and they've been taken to court multiple times being accused of nitpicking minor stuff to take over very profitable locations, including in 2005.
Oh, that is some bullshit.
When they seized 2 Subways in Dallas, Texas from a lieutenant colonel in the Army Reserve who was actively on deployment in fucking Afghanistan. Now, to be fair,
Okay, a soldier who served in Afghanistan is fighting a battle of a different kind back home in Dallas. He claims in a lawsuit that 2 Dallas Subway sandwich shops he owned were illegally taken from him when he went to war in 2005. I was totally floored. In the military, you always have your brother's back, and I really thought that Subway had my back, but it feels as if they stabbed me in the back. Subway is vigorously defending itself in the lawsuit. In a statement, the company said it supported American troops, but has the right to make sure its restaurants are properly managed and believes it followed the law in this case. Sus.
colonel in the Army Reserve who was actively on deployment in fucking Afghanistan. Now, to be fair, I don't know what their justification was for why they seized the locations, but considering the fact that in 2009, Subway lost the court case to said lieutenant colonel.
Texas judge ruled this week that the Subway sandwich chain acted illegally when it stripped a soldier of the 2 restaurants he owned while he was deployed to Afghanistan in the National Guard, according to a report to the Dallas Morning News. I feel like, yeah, a lot of people will be like, he was deployed, go fuck yourself. Like, I don't feel like that's going to go well for you, you know? Day later, a second judge vacated the 2006 eviction judgment against him. The 2 rulings together mean I'm finally starting to see some justice for the first time in a long time. This is the first time I feel as if justice is finally being served. I have some small glimmer of hope. After deployment, Beatty enlisted for active duty and is now based in Illinois. An attorney for Beatty, Grant Walsh, told the Morning News that the first ruling, which acknowledged a violation of the U.S. Service Member Civil Relief Act, means the case can move on to the damages phase, and noted that his legal bills have reached 6 figures. Great.
Because they deemed it illegal, I'm gonna say they weren't fucking good enough. But hypothetically, just for fun, let's just say they were good reasons. Subway Corporate identifies 2 restaurants in Dallas, Texas that aren't living up to the Subway standard, and they're like, what's going on here? What should we do? Oh, the owner's on deployment in fucking Afghanistan and isn't there to run it appropriately. Should we A, step in and help during the most stressful time of their entire life, presumably? Or should we B, repo their businesses, take their family's livelihood, so that while they're also fighting a war, they can deal about their family back home and losing their business? Huge W for corporate Subway. Makes them look great. I'm sorry, I'm getting horrifically sidetracked, but you guys get it. The franchise agreement is complete and utter bullshit and has been for the majority, if not the entire time Subway's been in business. Back to the timeline. In the 1980s and the 1990s.
No, Oddone's Out said that his bosses were always at the other Subway. That they did own 2, but they were always at the second location.
Subway is growing like crazy, and then in 1999 they have their first major scandal when 32 people in Seattle got hepatitis from 2 different Subway locations for eating a sandwich, one of which was a citis from...
I'm working out while standing here, so like I'm a little short of breath. I'm sorry. Okay, a class action lawsuit was filed today in Kings County Superior Court against the 2 Subway sandwich shops implicated in the recent hepatitis A outbreak. Okay. Lady ate a sandwich purchased at Subway located on Shoreline. In September. On October, she began to feel weak and dizzy. She also suffered severe nausea. She had numerous visits to the doctors, repeated lab tests. She'd been unable to work for several weeks because she's been exposed to this virus. She's no longer able to give blood or donate an organ. According to the Seattle King County Department of Public Health, 31 Washington residents have reported contracting the hepatitis A virus since October 15th, 1999. The majority of the individuals who have contracted the virus live or work in the Northeast Seattle or East Shoreline. An investigation by the health department has determined the likely sources of the outbreak to be 2 Seattle Subway sandwich shops. Okay. Fortunately, the number of victims is likely to rise because the incubation period can be several weeks and there is a substantial risk of person-to-person exposure.
2 different Subway locations for eating a sandwich. One of which was a 6-year-old boy who went into acute liver failure and had to get a liver transplant.
Jesus.
I didn't understand what you said. Could you put that in layman terms for me?
I'll be honest, didn't even know you could get hepatitis from a sandwich, but a new fear has just been unlocked for me, and I think we can all agree that, you know, the healthy, fresh option giving you hepatitis isn't a great look for Subway. So
Isn't there, what are the outbreaks that, there is something, and I don't know what it is. Something is always going wrong with the fucking lettuce. Lettuce is often getting recalled. You guys, it's E. coli? Okay, so not hepatitis. What the hell was the hepatitis in? E. coli and Listeria. Okay, great. What the fuck is always going on with lettuce? I don't know why. Anyway.
now Subway's hurting. They need a new PR campaign to turn this entire thing around. And in 2000, 1 year later, they find it in a college student that had lost like 250 pounds, supposedly only eating Subway, Jared Fogle. He starts filming commercials talking about how much weight he lost only eating Subway. He's bringing up his old pants and now he can fit in like one leg of the pants, showing off how much weight he lost. It is a humongous marketing success. Legitimately one of the most iconic and successful marketing campaigns of all time. Everybody knows Jared from Subway. He becomes the face of the company. It's so successful that Subway corporate said between 2000 and 2011, they credit Jared's ad campaign with a third to a half of their growth during that time. And during that time, they tripled in size. So
I mean, a lot of people want to lose weight, and the sandwiches at the time were affordable. And it was like, oh, it's healthy. We're doing this whole healthy bullshit thing.
Can't really argue with the results of this ad campaign. However, it's not something I would ever advise having somebody off the street become the national spokesperson for your humongous company. Why? Because if they do some crazy shit, it's going to make the entire company look bad. And this is why most huge companies have a fictional character as their mascot. You've got Ronald McDonald, Burger King, the Michelin Tire Man, Tony the Tiger. They're cartoons. They're safe. They're never going to get pulled over for a DUI while they have a pile of blow and a hooker in the back seat. Like, that's the idea.
Hold on. Go back to that. CDC and partners investigated a multi-step hepatitis A outbreak from leaked to frozen organic strawberries imported from Baja California, Mexico. Oh, in 2022. Yeah, but like, that wasn't happening in 1999 in a Subway shop, though. I want to know what was going on then.
Tier 100 Hey Chelzor, how you doing? Can't lurk for long but here with a dad joke. What did the cow say to the leather chair? Hi, Mom.
Well, that's fucked up. Thanks for the bits, Zero.
Never going to get pulled over for a DUI while they have a pile of blow and a hooker in the back seat. Like, that's the idea. And I'm sure you all know
Meanwhile, in another universe.
I'm getting at, because in 20
Okay, wait. Okay. There is a K-drama about working and finding love around a Subway. It's made by Subway, I'm pretty sure. In September 1999, at least 32 customers contracted hepatitis A after eating food contaminated with the virus in 2 Subway outlets. Virus is spread by eating or drinking food or water contaminated with infected feces. Subsequent investigations found that staff failed to adhere to thorough hand washing and the use of plastic gloves during food preparation. Class action lawsuit on behalf of the 31 victims was resolved for $1.6 million. Ugh. That's terrible.
2015, Jared Fogle ends up getting arrested and sent to federal prison for 15 years for, and I quote, illicit sexual conduct with a minor and having a bunch of illicit child material on his computer. Okay,
well,
popular opinion, 15 years, not enough. Okay, there's nothing funny about this, but the amount of just tragic irony and foreshadowing that the college student that got famous for fitting into a smaller pair of pants ultimately gets put in federal prison for trying to get in little kids' pants is horrific. Now, that happened in 2015.
You made the joke, dude. Like, damn, that's bonkers. That's crazy. Yeah, 15 years is. Well, you know, They might do some stuff to him in prison.
Luckily for Subway, they'd kind of been phasing Jared out as their head of marketing since 2008 when they came out with the $5 footlong. Again, I'm not saying a lot of positive stuff about Subway, but their marketing team is on point because the $5 footlong also is one of the most iconic marketing campaigns of all time. I mean, we all know the $5 footlong jingle. $5 footlong. The only jingle that's ever been made that's better than that is J.G. Wentworth, and I don't even know what the fuck J.G. Wentworth does, but I will know his song till the day I die. So the Subway $5 footlong absolutely dominates this.
Is J.G. Wentworth the ones that J.G. Wentworth? 100, 6014. Is that J.G. Wentworth or is that something else? Like, like, I don't remember, but still.
This came out in 2008, right?
Oh, it's the 8777 Cash Now one? Oh, that's Goldberg. You're right. That I'm thinking the Goldberg one. Damn. Listen. My brain is a sponge, and that it leaks and is full of holes, and it will dry up, and all of the water that is knowledge leaves.
The day I die. So the Subway $5 footlong absolutely dominates. This came out in 2008, right when, you know, the housing market crashed, the economy's in the tank. You could go and buy a footlong sandwich for $5. People loved it.
Listen, all I remember is head on, apply directly to the forehead. 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 Head on. And the Shirley Temple ones.
The economy's in the tank. You could go and buy a footlong sandwich for $5. People loved it. Well, most people loved it. Pretty much everybody loved it except for the franchise owners, because the franchise owners were like making little to no money. Some of the sandwiches they were even losing money on at the $5 price point. But they have to do it because Subway can set the prices, and if they can't set the prices, they can at least advertise the fuck out of it so everybody that comes into your Subway expects a $5 footlong. And then once you've already made it and they're mad that it's not $5, what are you gonna do? Throw it away? You're gonna sell it for $5 and save what money you can. I know what you're thinking. Why would Subway be willing to make a $5 footlong if they're not making money on it? Oh, that's simple, because Subway corporate doesn't give a fuck about its franchise owners. At least that's what it would appear to be, right?
And they're still making money, no matter what's happening with the franchises.
They're screwing them over left and right, and Subway takes 12.5% of their gross revenue, meaning not profit, so they're taking 12.5% of that $5, even if it costs them $6 to make it. Subway corporate is still getting paid. Fuck the franchise owner. And this is kind of the peak and then the downward slide of Subway, because the controversies just keep coming after this. First, they get busted because the footlongs aren't actually a foot long. People are
Subway, please respond.
walking in with tape measures, measuring them. They're 10 inches, 11 inches, not 12 inches. Okay, and I'm gonna kind of defend Subway on this one because this is a stupid complaint. It's the same amount of dough. They just didn't stretch it out enough before they put it in the oven.
Or when it baked, it shrunk a little bit because it rose more or something.
It's the same amount of bread, the same amount of calories. You're getting what you paid for. And that's really all Subway had to say. It was like, hey, sorry, the employee didn't stretch the dough out long enough before he stuck it in the oven, but all the bread is still there. And everybody would have been like, oh, that makes sense. That's cool. Do you think that's what Subway did? No, absolutely not. Instead, they released an official statement on their Facebook that says, and I quote, with regards to the size of the bread and calling it a footlong, Subway footlong is a registered trademark as a descriptive name for the sub sold in Subway restaurants and not intended to be a measurement of length. Translation, just because we call it a footlong doesn't mean you can expect it to be a foot long. That's just what we call it, you fucking idiot. Yeah, that Facebook post went about as well as you'd expect. They ended up taking it down. The balls to be like, we call it a footlong sub because we call it a footlong sub, not because it's 12 inches long, and if you interpret it as that way, you're dumb, is insane.
Also, they could have done, like, they could have released that and been like, and also, it's the same amount of bread, just sometimes it shrinks when it's getting cooked because it rises more than it stretches out, if that makes sense. Like, or it wasn't, like, stretched enough, but it's the same amount of dough. It's the same amount, whatever. They could have said both. Like, they could have just said both. But, you know.
To be fair though, a 2x4 hasn't been a 2x4 since like 1960 and nobody seems to care. Probably because the lumber companies don't scoff and look at you like you're a moron if you expect a 2x4 to be 2x4, but whatever. So then Subway loses their damn mind. They think they have trademarked the phrase footlong in regards to sandwiches, even though a footlong to them doesn't mean 12 inches, which ultimately leads them to suing Casey's gas station, which I've done a video on. My favorite pizza on the planet is Casey's gas station pizza. They file a lawsuit against Casey's because Casey's also makes sub sandwiches, and their 12-inch long sandwich they call a foot long. So Subway tries to sue them for trademark infringement on a fucking measurement. A measurement that they don't even abide by. Do you understand how fucking insane that is? That'd be like if I opened up a milk company and I sold, quote, gallons of milk, and I trademarked the phrase gallon of milk, and then I only sold you 3 quarts of milk, and then I turned around and sued the motherfucker actually selling you a gallon of milk. It's insanity. Obviously, they lost this fucking lawsuit because duh. So
Well, good. Because, you know, sometimes things get stupid. And sometimes they sue you just so that you give up and stop because they want you to run out of money. Like, they want to stretch out the lawsuit and make you run out of money, and that's how the corporations get you, but, you know.
Subway's on its down slump, and then they just lose all credibility as being healthy in the coming scandals. Buh! What do you mean it's not healthy? Jared lost 250 pounds doing it. Buh! Okay, Jared lost a bunch of weight because he was eating 2 6-inch subs a day, and they were mostly vegetables. He was eating like 1,200 calories. You can eat 1,200 calories of literally fucking anything, and you're gonna lose weight. If you eat 1,200 calories...
It's how much calories you take in versus how much you burn. You can live off Twinkies as long as you're burning more calories than you're eating in Twinkies. Like, it's just calories, man. It's math. Like, I get it. Like, yeah, there's like healthier options, quote unquote. Sure, that'll help you in health, but it's still math. Burn more than you take in, you lose weight. That's it.
Of Slim Jims and M&Ms, you're gonna lose weight, especially if you're doing a bunch of cardio chasing children at a playground like that sick pervert. In 2017, CBS, the news network,
That's crazy.
decided they were gonna conduct a little study on Subway chicken. They went, they bought a sandwich,
The fact is, he also walked 6 miles to his nearest Subway and back, so it was actually walking that made him lose the weight. Because the bread and Subway sandwich is considered as cake in other countries because it has so much sugar. We do put a lot of sugar in our bread here.
The news network decided they were going to conduct a little study on Subway chicken. They went, they bought a sandwich, they took the chicken, took it to a lab, and found out that the chicken that Subway sells is anywhere from 42% to 53% chicken.
What else is it? If it's not chicken, what else is in there? What filler do they have in the chicken?
What the fuck is the rest of it? Wait, let me guess. You trademarked the term chicken breast, and now if anybody assumes that a chicken breast is made out of chicken, we're obviously fucking stupid. Is that what it is? Thankfully, no, they learned their
No, I want to know because I don't eat Subway really. It's very rare that I eat a Subway, like extremely rare.
lesson. They did not go that route again. What they did was they're like, okay, we're fucking up. We're going to make sure that the chicken is actually 100% chicken. No, I'm just kidding. They turned around and tried to sue CBS for malicious news and took them to court, and they lost again. Because as it turns out...
So basically, instead of trying to better anything that they do, they just keep opening up lawsuits that they lose. So that's so stupid.
It's not illegal to tell the truth.
There is no way in hell that I am going to say... Oh, I'm really worried I'm going to say it.
Then in 2020 in Ireland was instituting a new tax where they were going to, have to tax more on food made in restaurants. And Subway came to the table and they argued, well, Ireland has certain staple foods that you can't increase taxes on. And one of those staple foods is bread. And we make...
Cheer 100. Hope you're doing well today, Chels. Hi.
Hello, I am. Thank you for the bits.
all of our bread fresh in our restaurants, we should be exempt from this tax. Okay, not a big fan of Subway right now. I'll admit it. I'll be up front. However, that's a reasonable point, and Ireland agrees. And Ireland is like, okay, we hear you. Send some bread off to the lab, and we'll take a look at it. They send the bread off to the lab, and the Irish Supreme Court comes back and says, there's so much fucking sugar in this bread, you're not legally allowed to call this bread in the country of Ireland. You have to classify this as cake.
Judge finds that sugar content of U.S. chain sandwiches exceeded stipulated limit, and they should thus be classified as confectionery. Those those wrestling with the great culinary physiological dilemmas of our time are Jaffa cakes actually cakes or just up themselves biscuits? Okay. Is putting chorizo and paella? I don't know how to say that word. Really an act of gastronomic terrorism, and what kind of monster doesn't love Marmite? Can give thanks to the Irish Supreme Court. Earlier this week, it brought clarity to an important, if less bitterly contested, debate. Paella. Okay. And a judgment published on Tuesday, the court ruled that the bread served at Subway, the U.S. chain that hawks giant sandwiches in 110 countries and territories, could not in fact be defined as bread because of its high sugar content. The ruling followed an appeal by Subway's Irish franchisee. The company had argued that the bread used in Subway sandwiches counted as a staple food and was consequently exempt from that.
Selling cake sandwiches. And all of this just keeps coming out one after another after another. It's promoted by a pedophile. The franchises aren't making money. The foot-long sandwiches are only 10 inches long and they're not bread. They're made out of cake. Half the chicken inside the chicken isn't even fucking chicken. Obviously, it leads to the public perception that Subway isn't that fucking healthy. And while all this is going on, they get rid of the $5 footlong and jack the fucking prices through the roof and then add a tip screen at checkout. Needless to say, Subway's in the fucking tank. They've closed down 7,600 locations since 2015, and they're closing down hundreds, if not thousands of locations every single year, and they are on a humongous decline. And this,
you know what? There's also so many other fucking sandwich places now. So it's not like you're hurting for a goddamn sandwich. Like, first of all, you could go to Publix. Publix makes sandwiches. You could go to Firehouse. You can go to Jersey Mike's. You can go to freaking... what's the fast one? Jimmy John's. Like, there's Quiznos. Like, there's so many places you can go to get a fucking sandwich. Like sub sandwich, whatever. Jimmy John's isn't fast anymore. Well, Publix is a American grocery chain. So, like, you know. So, like, it's an American grocery chain that has a deli. Like, that's... But, like, yeah, there's so many freaking places you could go to get a Subway sandwich. Not Subway, but, like, a sandwich. So it's not unique in any way. And there's Subway sandwiches are, like, the worst of all of them. Like, they are just the worst.
This entire thing is just a textbook example of shitty leadership ruining an A-grade idea, because a Subway franchise was a golden idea, a brilliant idea. Super cheap to start up, didn't need any specialized equipment. Everybody that knows how to breathe and chew bubble gum can learn how to make a sandwich in like...
Is Witch still a thing? Witch was a thing for a while. I don't know if it's still around, but that was another sandwich place.
Specialized equipment. Everybody that knows how to breathe and chew bubble gum can learn how to make a sandwich in like 5 seconds. It was so easy to make a ton of money, but instead Subway corporate was like, we're gonna make as much money as possible and fuck over all the franchisees even though they're on our team. All they had to do was be like, hey, we're gonna structure this in a way so that the franchisees are winning, then we're gonna win and everybody's gonna fucking win. But no, they took the easy way out to make as much money as they could, as fast as they could, and they didn't give a shit about anybody else, and it tanked the entire company. They ended up selling to Rourke Capital in 2024, which owns Jimmy John's and Arby's and a bunch of other restaurants. So hopefully a lot of this bad leadership stuff is gone already.
No, because Jimmy John's also sucks now. Jimmy John's, the whole fucking thing is that it's super fucking fast. It's now no longer fucking fast, and they give you more choices. Like, before, you were like, you want cheese? There's one cheese. It's yes or no. You want cheese? We have one cheese. Now it's like, what kind of cheese do you want? Do you want it toasted? Do you want this? What the fuck? You're supposed to be fast as hell. That's your whole fucking thing. Anyway.
ready, or if not, it's getting phased out. Also, I've talked an outrageous amount of shit in this entire video, so I want to take a minute and just be like, hey, I understand if you're mad at Subway right now too. I am as well. However, your local Subway branch probably isn't owned by Big Subway. It's probably owned by somebody in your community that's just trying to make a living making sandwiches, and don't take it out on them. It's not their fault, and they're probably a lot more mad at corporate Subway than we are, trust me. Thank you for watching. Best way to support the channel is go buy some merch, maybe drink some Echelon. Links for both of those are over at the Fat Electrician.
Why is it suddenly less loud?
Watching. Best way to support the channel is go buy some merch, maybe drink some Echelon. Links for both of those are over at the
Brute force and ignorance. Oh, buddy.
FatElectrician.com.
Happy gun, don't mess with dad.
Whack bang out. Don't forget to go check out Supremacy World
That
War
scared
III.
me. I
Unlock
didn't
your
expect that to
railgun and go
happen.
conquer the British. It's what George Washington would have wanted.
It's what George Washington would have wanted. That is legitimately very funny.